Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kectil YouTube channel, the platform where we spotlight inspiring young leaders from around the globe. And today we are excited to introduce our guest, Avantika, a brilliant biotechnology engineer with a strong commitment to medical research and climate activism. She also has represented Youth Voice at the local conference of youth, contributed to national youth policy statements, and co-founded the Mission Plastic Free Future campaign, a global initiative developed with youth from other developing countries through the Youth Climate Advocates Program. And Avantika is passionate about combining science, advocacy, and leadership to address some of the world's most pressing healthcare and climate changes. So thank you very much, Avantika, to joining today's interview, being today with the Kectil team, and we are so happy to discuss with you today about your journey, about your experience, your lessons, to learn more from you and get a lot of insights. So thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Thank you very much. So my first question will be, can you tell us a bit about your background and what inspired you to pursue biotechnology?
Right. So I'm Avantika and I grew up in India. So I grew up in the southern part of India in Tamil Nadu. So I was always interested in biology from school from a very young age. So biotechnology allowed me to, really have more freedom in the way that in engineering you are trying to think of creative ways to solve problems. So I really like that aspect of it, and I really liked that you could do research, especially because COVID hit around the time where I was applying to colleges. So the researchers who were working on vaccine development, all of their stories were so inspiring, and I really wanted to create an impact in that manner. So I think that really influenced my decision to pick biotechnology.
Thanks a lot for sharing that. And maybe you remember the moment when you realized that you wanted to combine science with activism. So maybe can you tell us about that time that you decided to do so?
Right. So I think a very important aspect of science is that it encourages curiosity. And for me, I grew up in a very maybe like a consumer conscious household where we were conscious of our impact as human beings on the external environment. So when I learned about, you always hear growing up, you hear about things like climate change and how it is impacting coral reefs and other organisms. So I always wanted to know more about it. I was curious about it. So that curiosity, I applied to programs where, for example, I applied to FXB Climate Advocacy Program, where they just teach you how to be a better climate advocate. So it was all from a place of curiosity initially, because I wanted to be a better person. I wanted to know what was going on in our world. So it comes in research also. You are encouraged to really think about each aspect of why a certain thing is happening and how you could overcome a certain problem. So same way, that's how I kind of came across these current crises. And India is a developing country, so we have a lot of problems with regards to shifting into a more sustainable lifestyle. So it was kind of what pushed me into knowing more, because as youth, we have a lot of expectations of the world we want to live in, the world we want to build. So that's kind of how activism kind of came into my life.
Great. Thank you very much for sharing that. And as a lot of activists, people, young leaders especially, we are facing a lot of challenges in our journey, to become who we are today. So could you please share some challenges that you faced in your maybe scientific research, in your career, or in your activist work that you're doing?
So, in one of our projects, where it was a global project, an initiative that you talked about in your introduction. So, in Mission Plastic Free Future, it was basically a group of us from different countries. So, we were people from India, Bangladesh, Zambia, Ghana, US, Indonesia. And we were trying to come up with a problem that is faced commonly in all of these countries. And most of us are from developing countries. So something that was a big adversity, I mean, a very common problem was plastic. You step out of your house and you see, there's so much garbage and it's not decomposing. It remains for generations. So it was something that we all could relate with. We all had such different backgrounds and cultures, but plastic pollution was something that we really wanted to combat. And we were also from such different backgrounds. Like, we were a group of people, like, of chemical engineers, environmental engineers, and civil engineers, and a biotechnologist. So we were all we had different opinions on how to tackle it. So it was a very interesting space because we all had this common goal, a common issue that we want to work on, and we all brought such different perspectives into it. So that was a very interesting experience.
Thanks a lot for sharing that. And during our journey that we wanna, to get more success, to do more impact for our people, we also, getting a lot of stress in that way. So my question will be, how do you manage this stress balance? I don't know how, even properly to say it, and stay focused on your goals, because a lot of young leaders, when they are feeling the stress and unmotivation, they are just stopping doing anything.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, you do feel discouraged when you see that no matter, even if you give it your 100%, the goal, it doesn't cause a significant change immediately. And change on an individual level can feel like it doesn't make a difference at all. But I think it comes down to speaking to people who are like-minded and who have a similar goal, so you can lean on each other. We are a very small community of people who are trying to make a change. So I think having a tight network and allowing people to have a space to express themselves and to use that those maybe stress as a motivator to push for more change is a good catalyst for change in a way.
Thank you very much. And I would like to move to another, part of our discussion. I guess it's one of the interesting part of discussion for everyone. It is about science and research. I'm not the science person, but I'm also happy to discuss about all of the things with the professionals, so with the people who has expertise in that field. So you've been involved in a wide range of research projects, from
Yeah,
nanoparticles to
good to
biofuels.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not so, so aware about all of these terms, but my question will be, which project has been the most exciting for you and why?
So each project has been tackling a very, like, for example, when I was working in the CO2 Green Research Center in my university, we were trying to look for ways of alternatives to fossil fuels. So we were trying to generate biohydrogen, which is a biofuel. But later I transitioned. I was more into medicine and clinical research. So I transitioned into um, a thrombolytic drug enzyme project where we were working with these enzymes that can bust a clot or can really dissolve. When you have a heart attack, it's caused by a blockage of a blood clot or a thrombosed vein. So we were working on that. But the most exciting one would probably be the project I did for my thesis, because I got an opportunity to travel to Taiwan and work as a research intern. And that's where I did my project on lipid nanoparticles. And it was such a new experience because I got to experience different cultures while experiencing their work ethic and their different work cultures.
Thanks a lot. Just a minute, I will open the door for myself.
Yeah.
because he's always starting to screaming once I'm recording anything or doing something with the conversation. So I'm so sorry. So let's continue.
Um, I did my bachelor's thesis in Taiwan, and that's where I did a project on the lipid nanoparticles. So
Thank
that
you
was,
very
I think that has to be my favorite.
Great. Thank you very much for sharing that. And how do you see the biotechnology contributing to solving urgent healthcare issues?
Mhm. So I think with healthcare issues, especially in developing countries, there is a lot of malnutrition in poorer economies where you can't afford a balanced diet. So I think biotechnology is allowing more efficient crop production, and in sectors like agriculture, even healthcare, it's like if you can create a device that is more portable and more economically feasible, it can be sold in a more widespread range so that more people can afford it, and to just make healthcare more accessible.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And uh, another question will be about the challenges for the young people who's working in the same field like you. So, what challenges do young researchers face in developing countries like your, or like, for example, you said that you worked with the Zambian, also people who working in this field.
So for research, I would feel like opportunities, a lot of times when you are a young researcher, your work is not valued, so the positions are unpaid. So it could be a
Mm.
voluntary research position, which is still a good opportunity, but if you have to support family or support yourself, it can become a little non-feasible. So I think that is one of the more challenging parts of doing research in a developing country, because there's always a shortage of funding for research.
Great, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And um, how do you stay updated with the scientific advancements and breakthroughs?
So for me, I'm really interested in the medical clinical science. So for me, I have a notification on my Google Scholar where I get emails of new articles that are being published in my domain. So that's kind of how I just keep up to date. Otherwise, there are apps. There are for example, like R Discovery, where you can access like summarized versions of research papers, which just allow you to keep updated.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And how do you see the link between scientific innovation and social change? Because you're already combining those two parts.
Mhm.
So, how do you see maybe in the future, or how it should work for the better impact for getting?
Mhm. So actually, a lot of people, they um, are advocating for a more sustainable alternatives. But the thing is, oftentimes sustainable alternatives are more expensive. So while you want to do environmental good, you can't not buy normal paper and buy recycled paper, which is 5 times the price. So we need to do research on more economical ways that we can be a more sustainable economy. So I think that's how science comes into play. Like we need more researchers who are focused on better alternatives so that we can have a more circular economy.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And what advice would you give to young students who want to enter biotechnology and also combine, science research and activism like you're doing it?
My number one advice would be stay curious. I think curiosity goes a long way. For me, I was very interested in medicine from a very young age, so which is why I decided to, even for my thesis, I specifically went to a medical university so that because I'm really interested in clinical trials and that area of research. So it's pretty interesting how you having a small interest in a field can push your career path in an angle. So for anybody who's looking to go into biotechnology, it's a vast field. You have so many sectors. Biotechnology is transforming lives in different areas of your life. So I think pick what you are passionate about and go for it.
Great, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And let's continue our discussion and also discuss about climate change because you also activism in this field as well, and that's really inspiring that you're doing quite
Thank
a lot of
you.
things. Yeah, so you also a co-founder of the Mission Plastic Free Future campaign, and the question will be, what inspired you to create this initiative?
Mhm. So this initiative was created as, like I mentioned earlier, like it was a group project where so many of us from developing countries came together. So it was just even when I went to the local conference of youth, I went there just to learn more because it comes from again a place of curiosity that you want to know. You want to be a part of uh, good that is happening. You want to use your voice for good for people who can't use their voice. So there in the LCOY, the local conference of youth, I met a lot of people. I met architects, I met engineers, I met lawyers. So it was so inspiring to see that it really doesn't matter what your profession is. If you are, it's so nice to see youth who are active and who are able to optimize their time and really create a change in things that they are passionate about. So for me, with Plastic Free Future, our aim with it was more to create more of an educational platform because we wanted to give scientific insights on how microplastics are already incorporated into our food. So things like that, we just wanted to create more content that could educate people and create more awareness.
Thanks a lot. And how did you collaborate with other youth across countries for this project? And maybe you have some points already that helps you to to engage people working with your project and inspire youth to join your project, because I know that a lot of youth facing this challenge and they don't know how to go through it.
Mm-hmm. I actually met my co-founders in a very similar project similar to Kectil. It was the FXB Climate Advocate program where, like how we have the community project over here, we had another climate action symposium. So we were supposed to group together and we just networked, we spoke to each other and we decided that is this something you're interested in, and we pitched our ideas, and that's how Mission Plastic Free Future was born. It was just from a place of common mutual interest on combating plastic.
Great, thank you very much. And what were some key achievements or milestones of the campaign that maybe you already achieved?
Mhm. So we were able to present our campaign in the Climate Action Symposium, and we also made it a network for people who are interested to share their climate action stories. So using that campaign, we were able to meet inspiring people like Daniel from Congo. He's actually a climate justice and peace activist, and we got to meet him through our campaign. And he also did a segment where he introduced himself and his work, and it was so interesting because he spoke in French, so we couldn't really connect that well because of the language barrier. But it was still so interesting to see that despite our diversity, we all are working so hard towards a common goal. So
Thanks a
all of us
lot.
have, yeah.
Thank you very much. And my next question will be about youth again, because we are on the Kectil program together, and the Kectil helps young people, to be authentic leaders, also to learn how to be an authentic leader. So, what role do you believe young people play in driving climate action and policy change?
So I think people, I mean, we are the only ones that are capable of changing our future. So I think we play a major role because in even like Kettle, where you learn leadership skills and you learn how to become a better leader, and different programs, they're all opportunities. So I think if somebody is able to an opportunity, like for example, when you join an opportunity, it depends how much you can learn from it, depending on how much for example, when the assignments, even for the Kettle assignments, I found that I really liked the authentic leadership assignment where I had to talk about, I had to write my own funeral speech. That was so interesting. I really loved that exercise. And even the talks by Steve Jobs and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I also like the business canvas model. So I think all of those, they're so helpful. And with platforms like that, it can really help leaders to accelerate their potential and create change faster. So I think our young leaders do have a big role in affecting climate change and climate
Thank you
action.
very much. Thanks a lot. And I have just an interesting question to you. It's more about, our fantasy and opportunity for growth. So, if you would have unlimited resources for creating any project that you would like to realize, so what would you be create?
That is such an interesting question. What would I create? I would probably create a really for example, not a lot of people are aware of such amazing platforms like Kectil. So I would try to create more awareness that there are programs because I think youth, all of us are so energized and we have all of these visions and we don't have a place to put it. So if more people knew about Kettle or programs, leadership programs, or just educational programs like this, it would really benefit them. So, for example, all of us know about Instagram and TikTok, but it's not as common. So, creating more awareness would definitely put the youth's interest in more useful places. So, that would probably, I would try to channel it into like university or school education so that it could be kind of like a personality development camp that
Thank
allows
you
you
very
to, yeah.
That's great. That's a great project. Thank you very much. And if we talk about the Kectil program, how did you first learn about the Kectil program?
So for Kettle, I was just looking for opportunities on LinkedIn, and that's kind of also another useful thing. Just keep an eye out for opportunities. You never know what you might find, and it might change so many things. So for Kettle, I just found it randomly, and I looked through the program, and it looked so interesting, and I just had to apply, and thankfully I got in. So it has been a very interesting year.
Thanks a lot. And how has being part of the Kectil network supported your growth as a leader?
I think Kectil is amazing. They teach such practical skills, especially with personal finance and business model planning, like I mentioned. So those were things that because I'm not from that background, I really would never have thought to go through. So as a leader, you definitely have to be all rounded and have to know at least a basic level of knowledge in different aspects. So it's amazing that they're really trying to give you a holistic education on how to be a better and a better authentic leader.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. And what message would you like to share with current and future Kectil participants?
Oh, I would say make the most of it. You have so many opportunities to talk to other Kettle colleagues. There are groups, there are forums, you have safe spaces where you can talk about your opinions without being criticized for it, or you don't have to be afraid. Just you make the best of it. I would say like talk to others, listen to others' opinions. I think other people's assignments are also very interesting to go through because there might be something that I didn't think of or I didn't look at it in that perspective, but looking at another person's assignment, it'll really be eye-opening. So I think it's so interesting to look at other people's perspectives on common world issues. So
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And as a young leader, how would you describe your leadership style before and after Kectil program, and how has it evolved as your project grew in scale and impact?
I think leadership is a continuous process of growing and becoming better and better. But I think I have definitely understood more with the more experience I gain, the more I'm realizing that it's not about the loudest voice in the room, but it's about being the person who can listen to everybody else's voice, who can collect everybody's opinion, make sure everybody is included and feels seen, and represent everybody in a way that is really authentic to the views of the group rather than kind of dominating and trying to get their views seen. So I think that's a very important part of leadership.
Thanks a lot for sharing that. And I would also like to ask you one question that I didn't ask before any of our interviewers. So
Yeah.
it is about also leadership and decision-making process. Yeah, you as a scientist and the person who's working with the researchers a lot. So you know that leaders are also facing a lot of difficulties when they need to do decision making. Yeah, and maybe you have some moments or some situation when you had to make a difficult leadership decision, and what did you learn from that experience?
So for decision making, it can be difficult when something that you agree that you think is right is not the other person, the other team members don't agree with. So it most commonly involves the process of discussing it and finding logic in the other person's argument. So there would be times, even in my research projects, where I feel like something should be done a certain way, but the most efficient outcome is talking through it and realizing that, hey, if we do it like this might be the advantage of the method and this might be the disadvantage. So somewhere or the other, if we are able to let go of our maybe personal attachments and just look at it as which method would give us the most profit or the most advantages, I think you are easily able to be like, okay, you are probably right. So you're able to make better decisions if you are more if you prioritize logic and are more pragmatic, I think.
Thank you very much. And also, strong leaders often balancing big dreams with practical steps. So, how do you make sure your vision for change turns into real, measurable impact?
Yeah, I think that's also something that because as leaders, often people have visions that are far into the future and are not aligned with the present. So you really need to take a lot of steps. You need to see far ahead and be able to make sure that each step you're doing is going towards that goal. So I think instead of having maybe a dream that is floating around in your head, if you have steps that you think, okay, I'll first do this and then do this, it's more attainable if you're able to create maybe a checklist, or if you're able to create action items to reach your dream so that it's more attainable. Because if I say that I want to become a world renowned scientist and do nothing about it, it's going to be difficult for me. But if I say, okay, I want to work with this professor, I want to work in this university, and then if I have smaller goals, if you're able to break it down into chunks, I think that makes it also a lot less intimidating for yourself, because we all have big goals, big dreams, but it's a little intimidating when you think about it.
Thank you very much. I really like the way that you're thinking and the how you have your expertise also helping you to to be more greater leader. Um,
Thank
yeah, and I really enjoyed this conversation today with you. And also
you.
for our viewers, I want to ask what leadership qualities do you believe are most important for young change makers today, and how can they start developing them early on?
So, like I mentioned, I think the most important leadership skill is listening to others, because it's very often misinterpreted as trying to be the most boldest or most loud. So, you might see in a discussion, somebody is putting the same points forward again and again, but it's not really going ahead because they are just trying to make sure that their voice is heard. But it's not a useful point, or it's the same point being repeated. So I think it's important that as a good leader, you are able to judge the situation and you are able to really take into consideration everybody and then do some follow through with the steps that is most useful for the general team.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And looking back at your journey so far, what's one lesson about leadership or personal growth that surprised you the most?
I have to say, when you have these visions that you want to become somebody or do something, sometimes when it doesn't happen, you definitely feel disappointed. But I think something that I'm surprised by is that in the end, you do pick yourself back up. You don't give up. I think that is also an important quality that a lot of people who I am inspired by have, because at the end of the day, if some things don't work out, it doesn't mean you give up. Yes, you would probably need a break. You need to process that maybe they didn't happen the way you expected it would, but still it's not the end of the world. You still have another ways to achieve your goals. So I think that is something that surprised me, that you don't give up no matter what happens.
That's great. That's great. Again, we're learning during those difficulties, during challenges that we are facing. We're learning every day a lot of things and a lot of lessons. And we almost, somehow this interview going so quickly. I even didn't, realize that we already in the finish line for today's discussion. I am so, great to discuss with you today. It's a really big pleasure for me. And my last question will be about the future impact. So, if we meet again in, for example, 5 years, right? What kind of impact would you hope to have created by the both in your field as a leader and as a scientist?
So for me, professionally, I would like to lead my own team in research so that I can have my ideas be, seen be seen, so that I can conduct the research, clinical research that I am interested in. But when it comes to activism, I definitely want more people. Like, I'm already telling friends and family around me that, hey, this might be better. Like, whatever I know, I'm trying to pass on to other people. So my goal would be to hopefully impact more people, help more people, and learn from other people, because I know that a lot of, like, we have quite polar interests. Like, some people who are into sustainability see it as black and white, that if you use plastic one day, you are, harming the environment. So there's a lot of things to learn. There's a lot of places where even I am probably wrong. So every day is a new day where you learn something from somebody else. So I'm just excited to see what new things I will be believing in 5 years.
Thank you for all your, lessons, your insight that you shared with us, and of course, thank you for sharing your inspiring journey with us today. And for the end, maybe you have some last lessons or some last advice that you would like to share with the youth around the world.
I would just like to say that Kectil is like a year-long program, and you have an opportunity to really connect with and meet with a lot of people around you. So there are people from different parts of the world. So it's not a very common opportunity. You don't get a chance to see or talk to somebody who is like halfway across the world. So make use of it. You never know. I think one of the lectures, when I saw, I think Steve Jobs' talk, he mentioned that I really liked his quote where he said that you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking back. So you have to trust that the dots will connect in the future. So I think that's a great quote, and it might be Kettle can be a life-changing opportunity for you if you use it right. So that would be my message.
Thanks a lot, Avantika. Thank you for your work that you're doing. It's really beautifully show how science and leadership can come together to make a real change in this world. So thank you very much for what you're doing every day. And we also wish you continued success in your mission to create a healthier and more sustainable world. And yeah, to our viewers, if this conversation inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing stories from young leaders around the world. And thank you very much, Avantika, for being today with us.
Thank you. It was nice talking to you.